Call to order the City Council regular meeting of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, June 18th, 2024, 7 p.m. Let the record reflect, we do have a quorum. Member Luker, Member Onstad, Member Yeager, and Mayor Iverson are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, tonight we start with open forum. It's an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items that are or may not be on the current agenda. Items requiring council action may be deferred to staff or boards and commissions for research and future council agendas if appropriate. You will be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask that you conduct yourself in a professional, courteous manner and refrain from the use of profanity. Failure to abide by this policy may result in the loss of your privilege to speak. Would you like to come up? Just, you want to give your name and address.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Tom McKelkey. I live over on Fletcher Court, 27485, back in the cul-de-sac. My purpose for being here today is I'd like to get some more information on our street maintenance. Now, last year, we had a pretty serious pothole problem. What had been fixed or taken care of was right where you come into 273rd and 274th. It looks like they brought in some asphalt. They basically had flattened it. But if you go further into the development, none of those potholes were taken care of. It got bad enough, and I don't know if it was the city or if it was one of the residents. Somebody came through with cold patch and started filling these holes, and I saw an old truck out there. Again, I don't think it was the city, but that creates its own problems because you now got gravel in your shoes. You take your dog for a walk, you drag it into your house, you get tar all over your car. So I guess I'd just like to know, we're still sitting with potholes, and I'm sure if I would have marked them from last year, that haven't been addressed. And we're already middle of June. I'd like to know what's the plan, because I really am hoping these get taken care of
Sure.
this year.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, can you answer that question?
Yes, thanks for coming in to talk about this tonight. We have been out doing pothole patching, which is the deeper holes, and I've driven the neighborhood. So there's a couple of things going on up there. There's some pothole patching that needs to be done, but there's also delamination, which is a failure of chip seal.
Okay.
And so while the Public Works Department is responsible for the asphalt in the city and the roads in the city, we've also been working through annual street sweeping and annual hydrant flushing. And with a smaller crew, we get pulled in different directions, and so we're kind of covering a lot of different ground, and this week's been a lot of trees and stormwater, surface water situations. So I can add to the list for the pothole patching, and then once we get through the pothole patching, we'll be coming back to work on that delamination, so.
Is there anything on the website, I guess my question is, where we can go back to reference? Because I know at one point last year, I think, and Mr. Reeves, I don't know if you were, I think you're.
He's new.
I joined the city here in February, so
Gotcha.
I can't speak to anything
Sure.
that happened, other than being able to gather some information, either from internally
Right.
through the city or through documents. Unfortunately, I can't answer for anything.
No worries. What I'm saying is I think there was a list of streets that were kind of in the process of getting addressed that may go a long ways in comforting people going, you know, it lends itself to some credibility.
Yep.
You know.
Are you
And
talking about our 5-year CIP?
Yeah, I want to add that this area was a part of the road tour just last month and
Okay.
is on the 5-year CIP.
Okay,
So-
and what is a 5-year CIP?
So that's a 5-year outlook, an inventory of the roads of what's going to be reconstructed or I'm sorry,
It's okay. We could also have
Not-
Mr.
not a
Erickson or Mr. Linwood.
Yeah.
not a full reconstruct, but.
Right, it would be a substantial, like either like a mill overlay or
Yes.
a reconstruction. So I think our 5-year CIP plan, that's essentially what we do as major improvements.
Okay.
It's not just like the patchwork and things like that. It's those. So I believe that project is on our 5-year CIP right now. I'd have to confirm the date. I think it's 2027 or 2028, I think, what that one's out right now. Essentially, every 3 years, we have, our engineering goes out and does a pavement management index.
Sure.
Inventory, I should say, and they essentially go through and count the cracks and the distresses in the streets and identify just what streets are in the worst condition, and that's really a component of our CIP when we try to identify kind of the worst to first. So we'll do the really bad ones, and I'm not, like you said, there's definitely potholes in that road. We drove it with the council. There's a delamination, there's potholes, and so I know there needs to be, there's maintenance along with a lot of our other streets. So certainly, I think we know that, and I know our Public Works is doing our best to keep up with it, but we appreciate when, they can't be everywhere, but I think that's one that we know that there's some issues there, so we appreciate you being vocal and letting us know.
No worries. Thank you.
And then
Yeah, you're welcome,
I'll,
thank you.
I've got a card here for you, so when something comes up,
Sure.
go ahead and reach out.
Thank you.
Here for us, so.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for your
We
time.
appreciate it,
Thank you.
thank you. Feel free to stay, or if you want to get whatever you want to do, but, all right, sounds good. It will be a quick meeting, so best one to come to then. All right, next on our agenda, number 1, approval of minutes. Consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for June 4th, 2024. If there are no questions or comments, we need a motion to approve. Motion to approve by Member Luker. Is there a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Number 2, consider approving the minutes of the City Council work session of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for June 4th, 2024. If there are no comments or questions, we need a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Consent agenda number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Onstad. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second by Member Luker. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Agenda, acknowledge receipts of reports of officer boards, commissions, and department heads, number 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Does anybody wish to pull any of those reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business, number 14, to consider a public hearing at the July 2nd, 2024 Wyoming City Council meeting to extend the interim ordinance temporarily prohibiting the establishment or operation of any new hemp businesses in the city of Wyoming under Minnesota State Statute 462.355, sub 4D2. Mr. Linwood.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of council. This is in regards to the city currently is acting upon a moratorium on prohibiting hemp businesses in the city. While we go through and continue to determining zoning for those, we'll probably have the planning commission, you'll start to see more work on that in the upcoming months as we near the end of that moratorium. But during the 2024 legislative session, Minnesota State Statute 342.18 was enacted, allowing automatic licensure of businesses selling edible cannabinoid products and lower potency hemp retailers. And with that new automatic licensure statute, it becomes necessary that we either extend that moratorium that we adopted in July of 23, or we actually go through the process and adopt a new zoning process to regulate those hemp businesses. So really, we have two options tonight if we want to continue that existing moratorium, which is what the staff is recommending due to this new legislation that came in. So we could either adopt a new zoning ordinance for that. We are not, staff hasn't prepared that hasn't gone through the process yet of planning commission or city council, or we look to extend that moratorium through this new licensure allowance through the hemp products. We have to have a public hearing between June 26th and July 11th. So staff is requesting that we would hold that public hearing on July 2nd, 2024, and that would be to consider extending the interim ordinance temporarily prohibiting the establishment or operation of any new hemp businesses in the city of Wyoming under Minnesota State Statute 462.355, subdivision 4D2.
I'm glad you read it again, so I don't have to.
problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
So my only question of that, is it another year? Is it, you'll talk about that obviously at the,
Right, we would extend it congruently with the current moratorium that we
Yeah.
have in place.
okay, got it. All right. Has everybody checked their calendars for July 2nd, 2024? Anybody have any issues? No? I believe that's our regular meeting
Regular
anyways,
meeting,
too.
yep, yep.
So, okay, all right. So I'll make that motion to consider public hearing at the July 2nd, 2024 Wyoming City Council meeting to extend the interim ordinance and so on and so forth. So I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Number 15, to consider Resolution 240657, a resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids in the 2024 street improvement project. Mr. Erickson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Staff was previously authorized to prepare plans and specifications. We've held the public hearings, we followed the appropriate processes, and so that next step that we're looking at now is the approval of plans and specifications and authorization to advertise for bids. So we are prepared to do that if
Ready to go.
council is ready to go.
All right. So questions from council will start from Member Yeager.
No questions.
Member Onstad?
No question.
Member Luker? And I have none either. We need a motion to approve Resolution 240657, a resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids for the 2024 street improvement project. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Member Onstad makes the motion. Do we have a second? Second by Member Luker. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Last on the agenda is council reports, and we will start with Member Yeager.
Oh, I just attended the work session prior to this meeting. Don't have a lot to, So, thank you guys for coming and speaking up, and thank you all for watching.
Perfect. Member Luker.
I also attended the work session just prior to this meeting, as well as the Chisago Lakes Joint Sewer Commission last night. Thanks for coming.
And Member Onstad.
I attended the work session just prior to this, and also attended the MS 150 bike-a-thon and watched all the participants come through our city.
It was a great day. So I attended the Planning Commission, the Sewer Commission, which was yesterday at 5:30, and then also the work session tonight. If anybody wants a good podcast to listen to, Maranatha had me on for their podcast to talk about things all city. It was a great time. I also was at the MS 150, and just a couple really great notes to point out. They raised $2.150 million just in Minnesota, just for this ride. That's a lot of money. It was last Sunday. There was 2,095 participants. Polaris sponsored the Wyoming tent. They were also in the top 10 teams for fundraising, which is great. We're always happy to have Polaris here. I am understanding that I left before two of the last riders came through, so I feel bad about that. But great event. They come through every year, and they're looking for people to come out and cheer them on. My cowbell's always going when they're out there. So, all right. With that, I'm always glad everybody's here. Thank you for coming in today. We really do appreciate it. And do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a first and a second. Do you need that? Member Onstad was the second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.